YouTube, what's up? It's Dave from House of 1,000 Collectibles, and we have another convention recap for you. This time around, it is for Monster Mania 46. Took place on August 13th through the 15th in Cherry Hill, New Jersey at the Crown Plaza, as always. This time around, we only went for one day. Nothing against the con, but the guest list, the guests are kind of the same guests over and over and over again, so this time around, we started spreading out and going to different conventions, as you have seen and will see in the next video, and we're still got probably one more coming up this year as well. So nothing against Monster Mania, but you got to bring new guests or people start venturing out and going to different cons, because you got to go where the celebrities are. So we just went for the one day because it was literally only like 4 or 5 people that we needed. So we went for the one-day pass for Saturday. It wasn't too bad crowd-wise. It has been getting pretty bad. I just feel like they need to move to a different location. Hopefully that eventually will happen. They've kind of outgrown, even though the Crown Plaza is pretty big, they've kind of outgrown it. They're trying to make do, but it still just gets flooded with just too many people. A convention that size, like a Comic-Con or something like that, that's why they hold them in convention centers, because they can accommodate that many people. Alright, so on to the guests. Like I said, we were only there for the one day, so we didn't hit any Q&As and stuff. We did walk around in the vendors. They do have a good vendor selection if you haven't been, but it is kind of the same vendors over and over again. So you pretty much just walk through once or something, see if there's any new people or anything new that's there that wasn't there the last time you were there. So the people that have been going for quite a while, like, you can still look around the vending room. But this really wasn't for anything for me. So we went on to go ahead and start meeting the guests. Alright, so the first one we'll talk about, these aren't in the order that I met them, but we have Michael Berryman. Was a really nice guy. Been trying to meet him for quite a while. He's got the weird kind of crazy look to him, scary look, which is actually a disease that he has, but he's a really nice guy. He actually, like, when he saw, I handed him the index card with the quote that I wanted on Weird Science, and he did a quote. He didn't do that quote, but he did a quote from that movie in the voice from the, like, crazy biker guy that he plays, so that was pretty cool. And then we talked about, you know, like, I thanked him for, like, coming out and, you know, with everything going on in the world and stuff, and we talked a little bit about, you know, the masks and where his idea stands, and he lines up with me. I won't get into where we stand with that kind of stuff, but you know, we lined up pretty cool, so it was cool to hear, you know, his side of what he actually believes. So it was a pretty cool guy. Here are the pictures with him. So each and every celebrity, we're going to do what we just did. We'll show a picture of me with the celebrity signing the item itself, and then a zoomed in of the autograph where they signed it, so you can read what they signed, the quote and everything. So that's what we'll do with each person as we go through. So next up we have Richard Brake. I got him to sign on the Game of Thrones. He played the Ice King, which is weird because he doesn't have any lines or anything like that, but he was a crazy, wild guy. Like, he's like throwing up the symbols and doing like a wolf holler and throwing up middle fingers and everything. Like, in the, like, when he's taking a picture when he's all getting up the camera, he does like a growl, like showing his teeth. You'll see in the pictures, but he kept doing it over and over, and the howling thing. I think most of that stuff is from the movie he's in, the Rob Zombie movie he's in. I can't remember the name of it. It might be 3 from Hell. But I think that's where he was. It was kind of funny. So then I go to take a picture and I get my Game of Thrones, and in the picture I throw up the middle finger and he doesn't. I just watched him do it 20 times while I was in line, but I guess because I was a Game of Thrones guy, he didn't throw up the finger like I did, so it was a little awkward for the picture. But he was a really nice guy, like I said, really crazy, really wild, but cool. So here's the pictures with Richard. Alright, next up we have Fiona Doroth. She played in Curse of Chucky. That's what I got her on. She's known for the Chucky stuff. She's going to be on the Chucky TV show that's about to start. And her dad is Brad Dourif, who is the voice of Chucky. So it was really cool. She was really nice, had a great laugh. Really, like, when she laughs, like, she literally laughs out loud. Her laugh is really loud. She's a little talkative, so the line was a little slow, but that means when you get up there, she's going to be talkative too. And she was. We got talking about all kinds of stuff. So I handed her the index card with the quote on it, and her quote had a cuss word, so I was like, here's the quote. If you'll sign it, I don't know if you will. And she's like, yeah, let's see what you got. And it was like, David, put the fucking doll down. And she's like, oh, fuck yeah, I'll sign it. And I was like, okay, like, this is my kind of girl right here. Like, she, cursing and like saying, fuck yeah, I'll sign it. So she did, which was really cool. She asked us where we were from. We explained it. And I told her, yeah, we live in a small town. And then, I was like, it's kind of near, like, Millville, Wyoming. She's like, like, is there farms where you guys live? Do you live on a farm? And I was like, we don't live on a farm, but there is one across the street. And, yeah, this kind of area is kind of Farmville, if you will. And she told us a story about how she grew up on a farm. And her dad, which is a weird picture of this in your head, Chucky, the guy who does the voice of Chucky, owning goats. She said when she was little, he had 4 goats on their little farm, and he took care of them and stuff like that. It was just a weird image of Chucky like talking to the goats in Chucky voice. It just was pretty funny. So she was really nice, really funny. Like I said, laughed out loud and was really talkative. Like got to hear a pretty cool story. And so when we're walking away, she's like, "All right, like tell the goats I said hi." And I was just like, "Okay." So here's the pictures with Fiona. All right, next we have up, this is actually my biggest, I think, one that I wanted from this. It's not for like crazy big celebrity, but it's for what I got him to sign on. His name is Chris Durand, and he played Michael Myers in Halloween H2O, which is actually one of my favorite Halloweens. Not the favorite, but one of. I love H2O. So he really liked the poster. It's like my little Michael Myers custom. I'm only getting people to sign it that have played Michael. And he's one of the few I don't have. So he looked at it and he was trying to figure out like who I have on there and who I'm missing. And he's like, you don't I don't see Dick on here, which is Dick Warlock. And we got to talking about how amazing, nice Dick is. I haven't met him, but I've heard he's really nice. So he was like, yeah, he doesn't do cons anymore. So we talked for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes about the poster and other people that have played Michael and Dick Warlock, which was pretty cool. So here are the pictures with Chris. Alright, next up we have Lauren Marie Taylor. She was in Friday the 13th. I think it was part 1, part 2. I don't remember. I want to say part 2. But she asked about my quote as well. She signed it, and I just said, I don't know if you, because she acted kind of like a little weird about it, and I was like, it wasn't a cussing or anything, and I was just like, I mean, if you said it, I was like, you actually, it's like she's going up the stairs, and then she goes off camera, and she's like, is anybody else here? And you don't see her say it, so I'm like, I assume that was you that said it. And she's like, well, yeah, if you remember in the movie, there wasn't very many people alive when that happened. So yeah, it was me that said it. And I was like, okay, cool. I just wondered. So as she signed and stuff, I don't remember, there was a dog in a Chucky costume that we saw. And she said something about a cat, and then I mentioned that we have a cat, and then we're showing each other pictures of our cats. And she talked about her cat scratched her in her like finger pretty good, and it like swolled up and got all big, and she had what they call cat scratch fever. And I was like, oh my god, I've had that twice. And I like showed her my leg, which is still got a scratch on it. I was like, I've been to the ER twice, and she had to go, like she was in the ER like way more serious than mine was. Like it literally swolled up, and she said her hand like looked like a eggplant or something like that. So it was crazy, and she's like, look at us, like, bonding over cat scratch fever. And I was like, yeah, like, whoever thought, like, I'm here meeting a horror actress, and we're here talking about cats and how they sent us to the ER. So it was pretty funny, and like I said, just all out, like, who expected that at a horror convention? That's why I always tell you guys, man, like, if you can get to the conventions, because shit like that happens all the time, and you end up talking to celebrities about goats on a farm or your cat scratching, you got to go to the ER. It's just crazy. So here are the pictures with Lauren. Alright, next up, staying with the Friday the 13th thing. I think it was actually the same exact movie, maybe 1 or 2. John Furrier. He was a little, I think he's like a little sipping grandma's cough syrup, a few. But he, cool, nice guy, just not really talkative. He kind of got lost a few times with what he was supposed to sign, even though, like, I told him he had an index card in front of him. He still kind of, like, I saw him, like, Paul's, like, losing track of what he's supposed to be signing, but he signed my poster, he signed Dina's poster, and everything worked out. He was doing, like, if you haven't been vaccinated, then you have to keep your mask on, and he'll, like, you know, like, you're here and he's over here. And then he's like, have you been vaccinated? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, okay, take your mask off and get all in here. And he's all nice then. But it was weird. I haven't been vaccinated, but whatever. So here are the pictures with John. All right, next up, we have another big one for me. This is Christine Elise. The reason why it was a big one for me is a long time ago. We're talking probably 10, 15 years. Me and her corresponded a little bit, and I don't think they were private messages. I think emails, because back then there wasn't Facebook and stuff like that. And she actually was about TTMs. Like, I was trying to get, send some stuff to her to get signed. She gave me an address to send them to. I did. She signed them. And then I got my envelope back, all my pictures, the index card, everything was signed. And then a couple days later, I got like a big envelope, and she sent me like a couple 8x10s, like on her dime. Like, she had to, they were her pictures. She had to pay for the shipping to get them to me. So I thanked her for, like, other people in our community have gotten you over the years. So, like, I personally want to thank you on behalf of all of us TTMers for taking the time to do that, because you don't have to. You're not getting anything out of it other than fan appreciation. So, and she was like, oh, and like when I told her about her sending the extra stuff, she's like, oh, look at me doing nice, like being nice. And I was like, yeah, that was pretty awesome. So she really enjoyed the thank you. So here's the pictures with her. Alright, and that was all that I got from myself, but I was present for a few other ones, and it is a pretty cool thing that happened, so I wanted to tell a story. So, I have met the Cobra Kai people, or Karate Kid people before, but Dina hadn't, and we took Dina's nephew, Mikey, with us, because he's a big Cobra Kai fan. He's like 12, I think. So was a big fan. And we're like, why not take them? Like, they're here. There was two of them. You had William Zabka and Martin Cove. Pretty much the top two, other than Danny, Ralph Macchio. Two of the top three guys in Cobra Kai. So I was like, I'll be the picture taker. I went up with them. Dina got her poster signed. They upped their price, of course, but that's whatever. They're really cool to meet. I still think they're worth the money. And then, like, she explained, like, he's a big fan of you guys's, and he asked him how old he was, how's school, do you play any sports? He does, he plays football. He asked him what position. He said he used to play football, and they had, like, this whole, like, 5-minute conversation. Now, here, this guy's got a line, you know what I mean? Like, he took the time, and we witnessed it while we were in line with another kid, too. Like, he, like, takes some extra time with the kids, which is always an awesome thing for a celebrity to do, because they don't have to. They could literally just give me $100, sign your shit, and go on. But when they see a kid, they take the extra time to spend with the kid. So after everything was done, we got the autograph, we got the pictures with him. Like, we go to, like, I was like, thanks, man, it's nice seeing you again. And we go to walk away, and he's like, hey, wait, like, come here. And he told Mikey the kid to come here. And he's like, turn around. And, like, he got a Sharpie out, and we all had Cobra Kai shirts on. And he signed the back of his shirt real big, and he put, like, Mikey Cobra, something, No Mercy, I think, and then his signature. And it's, like, big. I mean, it's literally, like, the whole back of the shoulder is what it takes up. So that was cool. And, like, you could tell, like, Mikey was like, oh, my God, I'm like, it's so cool. So we had that. We're going to do, like, a little shadow box thing up for him, and he can hang that on his wall and always have something to remember the day he met, two of his people. It was actually his first celebrities. So here are the pictures with him. Alright guys, and that is the full convention recap, all the celebrities, all the stories that I have. Again, it was only one day. Now that I've done a few one days, I do like spending the weekend, making a weekend out of it. You can just kind of go at a slower pace and take it all in. When you're there for one day, it's just like, boom, get in line, get the autograph, get in line, get the autograph. And there are stories and there is cool stuff that happens, but, you know, in order to go to a bunch of conventions, like, I just don't have the funds to do that and stay each weekend. So moving forward, this is probably how we're going to do things. We'll go to the whatever one we want that has the most people. We'll just spend the weekend, and then we'll do a couple more cons where it's just one day, meet the people, come back, still tell the stories, but there's just less of stories because there's just less time spent there. But still had a very good time. Like I said, the lines weren't too crazy. Even the William Zabka was the craziest line, but we just lucked out. Like, as soon as we went in, we went straight for him and just stood in line, and it was maybe 20, 30 people in front of us. It got crazy later on as you went, but that's what you do, man. Get in the big line first, knock them out, and then bang all your little guys out. So, Mania, had a good time. I wish they just get back to how they used to and bring, fresh people in. Stop bringing the same people over. I mean, literally like 2, 3 cons in a row, 4 or 5 people are the same. If you start switching it up, bring people who have never come, bring people that you haven't had in a long time, and I think you'll actually even will grow more, or you just keep losing people. So, all right, guys, that's it. We'll catch you next con recap. Peace out.